welcome to my guide on how to unlock all of the outfits of the challenge mode for Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remaster. In this video I'll be going through every outfit, how to unlock each one, and a few tips and tricks to make the process a little bit easier. So let's get on with it. First and foremost, just a quick note. As I'm recording this video after the latest patch, there is currently a bug that makes the Mobster, silver and gold outfits impossible to unlock without using cheat codes. However, I'll still show you how the unlocked is supposed to work. If by the time this video goes live the game has already been patched and the bug has been fixed, you'll know exactly what to do. Unfortunately, I can't show you how to fully unlock the Mobster, silver and gold at the moment, but I can still explain how it's done. And trust me, it's much easier than you might think. The first outfit you'll want to unlock is Speed Demon. You can either go Speed Demon Bronze or you can go straight for the Speed Demon Silver. Both of them are actually fairly easy to get, but since this guide covers all of the outfits, I'll be going through each one individually. There's a reason why we're starting with Speed Demon. It makes unlocking Paragon of Peace much easier because of the passive ability. So the passive ability of this outfit gives Lara increased armor, allowing her to ignore the first instance of damage from an attack. And this passive has a 10 seconds cooldown, which makes it extremely easy to avoid damage, which is one of the criteria to unlock a Paragon of Peace. To unlock the Speed Demon Bronze, you need to complete a challenge mode level on CR5 or higher under 3 minutes. And for this, we'll go to Tomb Raider 3 and we'll be using the speedrun tactic on Thames Wharf for the first level of London. Moving on, we now have Speed Demon Silver tier. To unlock this outfit, you need to complete Tomb Raider 2 Assault course in under 1 minute and 20 seconds, Tomb Raider 3 Assault course in under 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and then finally Tomb Raider 3 Quad Bike course in under 39 seconds. These are already pre-existing achievements, so in this video you'll notice that at the bottom right corner of the screen the achievements will pop up. So I've decided to include the full Assault courses recordings to hopefully help you reach the required times as well if you need. However, I'll be speeding up the footage slightly so it doesn't take up too much time of the video.
but I'm sure you can do better.
Now, for Speed Demon Gold version, I won't be showing the full process for obvious reasons. To unlock this outfit, you need to complete Tomb Raider 1 in less than 5 hours, Tomb Raider 2 in less than 6 hours, and then Tomb Raider 3 in less than 6 hours. These requirements are the same as achievements that already existed before the challenge mode was added. So if you've already gone for those speedrun achievements before, then this will be just the same. You need to repeat all the same process. However, there is a trick I've seen people mention online, although I'll say this straight away that it did not work for me, unfortunately. The idea is to replace your save file with one from the final level and then complete that level. If the save file is still under the required time limit, then the achievement should unlock once you finish the level itself, because it's thinking that you've actually finished the game. You can also check your in-game statistics to see your total playtime, so you'll know whether you're still within the required limit. Also, please keep in mind that pausing the game does not stop the timer. The clock keeps running even while the game is paused, so if you're going for this properly, make sure you're aware of that. I've also seen some people try this through challenge mode by starting from the final level and completing it, hoping the game counts at full game completion. That also did not work for me, but again, you can always try it and see for yourself. So again, good luck and have fun. Now we're moving on to Paragon of Peace. This is actually one of the most overpowered outfits you can unlock, because it makes several other outfits challenges much easier afterwards. The passive ability for this outfit is that enemies except bosses will not attack Lara unless provoked. Also, enemies will deal double damage as a debuff. For this one, we're actually going to start with the silver tier, not the bronze. The reason for that is simple. To unlock Paragon of his Silver, you only need to complete a Tomb Raider 1 challenge mode level on CR 20 or higher without taking any damage. So the challenge does not specify which level it has to be. So instead of going for the bronze first, which requires completing the Coliseum level, and can be much harder even with the Speed Demon buff, we're going to make things easier for ourselves. So we'll go straight into caves. The very first level of Tomb Raider 1, equip Speed Demon and use its passive ability to help us get through the level without taking damage. We also have the 10 seconds cooldown that we'll be using a lot. And once we unlock Paragon of his Silver, we can then use that outfit to make unlocking the bronze and gold tiers much easier. So instead of showing the whole level here, and instead of speeding up the clip, I will show you how I deal with the enemies using the Speed Demon buff. In this part, you'll notice that I actually got hit by the wolf and lost the buff, so I reloaded the game, because I am not sure, but I think if you get hit, even with the buff, the not get hit challenge will fail. So make sure you always have the buff active so that you know that you never got hit. So the reason why it does not show that an outfit was unlocked, it's because I've already unlocked the Paragon of Peace Silver, and unfortunately I did not have the footage to show you all. But again, if you use Speed Demon outfit and you make sure that you never lose a buff, you will be okay. Now that we've unlocked Paragon of Peace Silver, we can use its passive ability to our advantage and unlock the bronze and gold versions at the same time. These two requirements actually work really well together. To unlock Paragon of Peace Bronze, you need to complete Coliseum level in Tomb Raider 1 challenge mode on CR 20 without killing anyone. To unlock Paragon of Peace Gold, you need to complete a Tomb Raider 1 challenge mode level, again not specified, on CR 20 or higher without damaging any enemies and without getting hit. This is where the passive ability of Paragon Peace, the silver version that we've got, will be very handy. Again, the goal requirement does not specify a particular level, so we can use Coliseum for both. So the plan is simple: equip Paragon of Peace Silver, play Coliseum on CR 20, don't damage any enemies, don't kill anyone, and don't get hit. If everything goes well, you should unlock both Paragon of Peace Bronze and Paragon of Peace Gold in the same run. I'll be speeding up most of this footage and only showing the important parts, because the main thing you really need to watch out for in Coliseum is Pierre Dupont. In my run, I was actually a little bit lucky because Pierre spawned quite far away from me, which made it much easier to move around him without getting hit. But remember, if you want the gold version, you cannot take any damage at all. So I was actually quite lucky in my run because Pierre Dupont spawned quite far away from me, which made this section much easier. That's why I strongly recommend saving before you go up the Coliseum stairs, because this is where Pierre can actually become a problem. My advice is to stick to the upper staircase as much as you possibly can. Keep moving and keep jumping to avoid his attacks. Also make sure you save before moving from one archway to another, just in case that his positioning becomes awkward or he manages to hit you. Coming up next, we have the Atlantean Bio-Armour outfits. This is actually one of the easiest outfits to unlock because you can get the bronze, the silver and the gold tiers all in the same run. That's because all three tiers use the same level, Atlantis. To unlock Bio-Armour Bronze, you need to complete Atlantis in Tomb Raider 1 challenge mode on CR 20 or higher. For the silver, you need to complete it on CR 15 or higher, and for the gold, you need to complete it on CR 20 or higher. So naturally, we're going straight for the CR 20 because that will unlock all three tiers at once. When setting up a challenge mode run, make sure you equip Paragon apiece. This makes the level extremely easy because all of the enemies will ignore you and you have no bosses. So pretty much just copy paste the setup that I have, go through the level, do not hit anyone obviously, and complete it as normal. I won't be showing the full level here, but I'll include a few clips along the way. Just because it's fun, why not? Apart from that, this is a very straightforward outfit to unlock. Just get through the level and you're done. Easy peasy. Coming up on our list, we have Established Explorer. This is another very straightforward outfit to unlock because you only need to complete one level to unlock all 3 tiers at once. Once again, this is because all 3 tiers use the same level, the Great Pyramid in Tomb Raider 1. For Bronze, you need to complete the level on CR 5 or higher, for Silver on CR 10 or higher, and then for Gold on CR 15 or higher. So naturally we're going straight for the highest requirements so we can unlock all 3 tiers at the same time. For this challenge mode setup, we're actually not going to use Paragon apiece. Instead, we're going to use a Speed Demon, and the reason for this is simple. In this level, we have 2 boss encounters, so Paragon of Peace's passive ability won't be especially useful here. On top of that, there are fewer regular enemies and far more traps, which makes Speed Demon more helpful. Also, when setting up the challenge rating, we want to lower the boss's health as much as we possibly can, while still staying within the CR 15 requirement. This is especially important because their attack damage will be set to 250%, so the faster we can take them down, especially the bosses and the fight with Natla at the end of the level, the safer the run will be. So the setup here is simple. Use Speed Demon, lower the enemy's health as much as you can, keep the run at CR 15 or higher, and then complete the Great Pyramid to unlock all of the tiers at once. Once again, I won't be showing the entire level here. I'll just be showing the full bosses fights and speed up as much as possible, along with a few key sections of the level here and there. So with that being said, enjoy the footage. Because we don't have any medipacks at the start, we want to preserve as much health as possible because of the fight with Natla at the end. And to avoid the inevitable fall damage right here, you need to use a speedrun tactic. Once the floor beneath Lara starts to crumble, quickly perform a sidestep. This cancels the falling animation because the sidestep animation takes priority, which means that Lara avoids the fall damage completely. This is incredibly useful for this run. We will be picking up medipacks later, but ideally we want to save them for the final boss because Natla will be a little bit of a pain to deal with. As you can see in the footage, I'm using Speed Demon's passive ability to my advantage here because of the arrows. This section can be quite difficult to time perfectly without taking any damage. So if you accidentally get hit by an arrow, don't panic. Just wait 10 seconds for the buff to come back and then move forward. You can repeat this as many times as you need, allowing you to get through this part of the level without losing any health. This is one of the 2 secrets we need to pick up to make the fight with Natla a little bit easier later on. Before you shimmy across to the other side to collect all of the medipacks, make sure you kill all of the bats first. And this is the final secret we'll be picking up because it also contains a large medipack that we can use to our advantage during the final boss with Natla. And here we are, finally at the last stage of the level, the fight with Natla of Atlantis. Again, this fight is fairly straightforward, but with enemy damage set to 250% and Lara's health bar being reduced, it can become quite challenging. That's why we've been saving our medipacks. This is where we're going to use them to our advantage. To deal with Natla, make sure you're always on the move and safe throughout the fight. Avoid her range attacks, avoid her fireballs, and keep jumping sideways as much as possible. A little trick I use here was positioning myself near the start of the final platforming section, just as I was about to finish her first phase. That way, once Natla starts her quotation marks regeneration animation, we can immediately begin the platforming section and get as far away from her as possible before she becomes active again. This makes it much easier to reach the top and finish the level without having to deal and kill wingless Natla. Now we're moving on to the outfits that can only be unlocked in Tomb Raider 2. To start things off, we have Master Mobster. Fortunately, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, as of the latest patch, the silver and gold tiers are impossible to unlock legitimately, so without using any cheat codes, because you run out of ammo before the level can actually be completed. Supposedly the level should end after killing 18 enemies, but in my game I simply cannot kill all of the enemies without running out of shotgun shells. Now, to be fair, in one of my attempts I did get a little bit unlucky with the randomized mob spawns, and I probably wasted around 2 or 3 shotgun shells, so you need to be extremely careful with how much ammo you use. Not just that, I've actually managed to save as much shotgun shells as I could possibly can, and even before the boss spawning, the level would not end and I was already running out of ammo and I just could not finish the level. It was absolutely impossible. So most enemies will require around 4 shotgun shells to kill. The mob with the machine gun can actually be killed with 3, the dogs take 2 shells, and the hardest mob is the one from Tibet with the rapid fire weapon, which usually takes around 5 shells to take down. So I will still show you how the gold version is supposed to be unlocked, and you can use this way to also unlock the other tiers, but the problem with Master Mobster is not just the current bug or the current state of the challenge, it's also the fact that you need to repeat Home Sweet Home 3 separate times for each tier. That's because each tier has different requirements. So besides the enemy health and enemy damage needed to be different for each tier, for the Master Mobster Bronze, you need to complete the level with the enemy type set to reinforcement. Then for silver you need crowded, and then for gold you need all hands on deck. So as you can see, it's literally impossible to unlock all 3 tiers in one go. And even if you could, well, at this stage, as I've mentioned it before, it's just literally impossible. You will run out of ammo before the level ends, and it will just not trigger the ending cutscene as it did with some people after killing 80 mobs. Nonetheless, still enjoy the footage that I have for you. I've managed to discover a very easy way to deal with them. You just need to spawn them and to lure them into Lara's room and use corners to your advantage. And eventually you will have a bunch of corpses just lying on Lara's Croft's bedroom, and it's actually kind of funny to see, so go ahead, enjoy. And again, if you want to try this, and if by the time the video is released there is already a patch, this is the way to do it. So good luck and have fun. One thing that I actually forgot to mention earlier, and you may have noticed that in this footage I'm actually using Master Mobster Bronze tier. That's because I did manage to unlock the bronze version fairly easy. Even with the boss enemies, you still have enough shotgun shells to complete the level. Unfortunately though, the passive ability of this outfit does not apply to Home Sweet Home, which is a shame. That passive gives Lara a stronger shotgun, makes the shotgun fire rate go faster, and the shotgun will start off with 50 shells. But in Home Sweet Home, that passive ability simply is not available, or it simply does not work. Which is a shame, because if it did work, then maybe silver and gold might actually be possible to unlock at this point in time because of the current state of the actual challenge mode. Nevertheless, this is still how you should unlock the outfits. So up next we have the Ahab approved outfits. Unfortunately for this one we do need to unlock each tier separately because each tier has different requirements. Even though bronze and gold take place in the same level, they require different challenge mode settings. Also for silver we need to use a wetsuit outfit. And to my knowledge, Ahab approved is the only outfit that actually counts as a wetsuit. So we'll start with bronze since that's the easiest to unlock first. To unlock Ahab approved bronze, you need to complete 40 fathoms in Tomb Raider 2 with the enemy type set to all hands on deck, enemy damage set to 150% and challenge rating of 5 or higher. For this run, I actually went ahead and used Speed Demon outfit because its ability is extremely useful when dealing with sneaky or hidden enemies. Also, this is a good time to tell you that some of the Tomb Raider 1 outfits' passive ability do not work in Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb Raider 3. A good example of that is Paragon of Peace, which makes enemies completely ignore you if not provoked. Unfortunately, we cannot use its passive ability here, so that's why we are also going for Speed Demon. So also one of the reasons why the passive ability is very good, it's because there are a few moments where Lara is climbing or locked into an animation while enemies are already shooting at her. So having that extra protection to ignore the first instance of damage can make a big difference. One quick note about the footage, the quality here isn't the best because I had already unlocked this outfit during a stream, so the recording is taken from the stream itself rather than fresh gameplay capture. That said, it still shows the important part, how to deal with the enemies in this challenge mode setup. So go ahead and enjoy the footage. So right here is actually a very good example of why the buff is very handy. We are climbing up edge and obviously we cannot dodge or roll ourselves out of the first shot. So the passive ability is extremely useful in these cases. You can also see here that again the passive ability was extremely handy to completely negate their shotgun damage. Up next, we have the silver tier of Ahab approved. To unlock this outfit, you need to complete a challenge mode level on CR 10 or higher, while wearing a wetsuit outfit and without entering water. One important thing to keep in mind is that the level needs to have a body of water available, otherwise you won't be able to unlock this outfit. I've seen a few people do this in Home Sweet Home, but personally I prefer doing it in Dragon's Lair. And again, because you need to be wearing a wetsuit outfit, we will be using Ahab approved for this run. So right here, when we're fighting Bartoli in dragon form, it's actually the only place in the level where you can accidentally fall into the water. So when you're dodging his attacks and moving around the dragon, please be careful around the holes in the floor. If you fall down into the water, the requirement will fail and you'll have to repeat the whole level again, so be wary of that. So up next, we're going for the gold tier of Ahab approved. To unlock this tier, you need to defeat all sharks in 40 fathoms in Tomb Raider 2 challenge mode, with all hands on deck, enemy damage set to 250, enemy health set to 250, and challenge rating of CR 12 or higher. This challenge is actually quite difficult because you don't just need to kill all the sharks, you actually need to finish the level afterwards. If you kill all the sharks and then leave the level, the requirements simply won't count, so we're forced to go through the whole level again, defeat all the mobs and finish it. On top of that, some of the sharks are quite sneaky. They will only spawn if you swim to certain areas or edges of the map, especially at the beginning of the level. I will show you how to trigger them and deal with them properly, so worry not, just follow through the footage. And for this run, we will obviously be using a Ahab approved outfit to our advantage. Lara will start off with a harp. Its passive ability gives Lara an improved harpoon gun. It deals more damage, fires faster, and starts with 100 harpoons. Also, Lara will get 50% more air while underwater, which is extremely useful here. We need to spend quite a bit of time swimming around to trigger all the sharks. To start things off, as soon as the level begins, immediately equip your harpoon gun. Use the scatter objects on the ocean floor to guide you and follow them until you start to see the sunken ship. Around this area, the first shark should appear, or you may even get 2 sharks at the same time. If 2 sharks spawn together, be careful not to get too close because with increased enemy damage, they will kill you instantly. So the best way to deal with the sharks is to keep swimming around them, stay away from their mouth and try to attack them from behind. Make sure that Lara is properly facing the shark and that you're close enough for the harpoon shots to actually hit the shark. If you're too far away or at a wrong angle, you'll waste harpoons, and we really don't want that in this run. So as I was trying to find the entrance to the sunken ship so I could refill the air bar, the next 2 sharks appeared. At this point, my air bar was almost empty, so I only had enough time to kill one of them before I had to swim and get some air. Keep in mind that there are actually 5 sharks in this area to deal with in total, so these first few that we see are not the only ones that we need to kill. You'll have to come back to this area, go all the way and swim to the edge so we can actually spawn the remaining of the sharks, and we'll have to refill our air bar quite a few times. So stay with me and follow the footage. So I was actually a little bit lucky because our friend here decided to follow Lara into the sunken ship area, so we could actually kill it right here. So up next we need to swim all the way to the edge of the map to trigger the next shark. However, be careful because you do need to do this fairly quickly. Even with the outfits, air bonus, Lara's bar won't last forever, so don't linger for too long. Follow the path I'm taking here, swim all the way towards the edge, and eventually the shark should spawn. Once it appears, kill it as safely as you can, then head straight back to refill your air bar. So to finish off the starting area, we're going back into the open ocean, but this time go left and swim all the way towards the edge of the map. Again, the final shark in this area should appear once you get close enough to the edge. Once it spawns, kill it safely as possible and then head straight back to refill your air bar. So after dealing with these initial sharks, we'll continue through the level as normal and we will only have 2 more sharks left to deal with. And just like with the bronze tier, I will be showing you how I deal with all of the mobs rather than showing the entire level from start to finish. That way we can keep this video as short as possible. So enjoy and have fun. I would strongly advise saving here because this is the area where we'll have the final 2 sharks to kill. This section can be a little bit tricky because it's not just the 2 sharks following us. There are also smaller fish around that can get in the way and attack Laura, so make sure you save it before entering the water. When dealing with this section, try not to waste any harpoon ammo on the smaller fish. Instead, do your best to isolate the sharks so that Laura targets them properly with the harpoon gun. It might happen once or twice that the harpoons will lock into the smaller fish automatically, but as long as you still have enough ammo to take down both sharks, you will be fine. Again, the important thing here is to have a save file before entering the water, just in case the targeting or enemy positioning goes badly. Up next, we have a Dragon Warrior outfit, and Dragon Warrior is one of those outfits that are very easy to unlock. This is because every single tier takes place in the same level, and the only difference between them is the require challenge rating. So for bronze you need CR 5 or higher, for silver you need CR 10 or higher, and then for gold you need CR 15 or higher. So naturally we're going straight for the highest requirement again, so we can unlock all three tiers at once. If you have it unlocked, I strongly recommend equipping Master Mobster for this run. It does not really matter the tier that you have, because the amount of shotguns that you will start with is the same throughout all outfit tiers. This is especially helpful because for this challenge setup we need to have enemy health set to 125 and then enemy damage at 125. So to deal with those nasty warriors, the shotgun really is necessary, and also for the dragon itself. So once you're done fighting the guardians, I recommend switching back to the pistols to deal with the rest of the enemies. These enemies are actually very easy to avoid because they throw shurikens at Lara, and as long as you keep jumping from side to side, you should be absolutely fine. Actually, in this run I almost did not lose any health at all. So by using the pistols also means that we can save the remaining shotgun shells for the fight with Bartoli later on, which will help us take it down way faster. Right, so now we're moving on to all of the outfits that can be unlocked only in Tomb Raider 3. And let me tell you, the Tomb Raider 3 outfit requirements are actually quite nice comparing to some of the previous outfits that we've already unlocked. And this is because we're back in familiar territory where all three tiers can be unlocked in the same level. The only real issue is that Tomb Raider 3 levels are notoriously long, and for those of us who just want to speed through them, that can be quite a hassle. Nevertheless, let's get on with it. So starting off, we have Flying High outfits. To unlock the bronze version, you need to complete Area 51 in challenge mode on CR 5 or higher. For the silver, you need CR 10 or higher, and then for the gold, you need CR 15 or higher. So once again, we're going straight for the highest requirement so we can unlock all three tiers at once. Also, keep in mind, again, that some passive abilities from previous outfits do not work here, but Speed Demon absolutely does, and also, since Speed Demon's passive abilities also give Lara Croft infinite stamina in Tomb Raider 3, we're definitely going to use that to our advantage, so let's get started. Now we're moving on to the next outfit, which is Honorary Damned. I am very much sorry if I'm butchering the name. I generally don't know how to properly pronounce it. Once again, this is one of those outfits where you only need to complete one level to unlock all 3 tiers. So for this outfit, you need to complete Lud's Gate in Tomb Raider 3 Challenge Mode. For the bronze, you need CR 5 or higher, for the silver, CN 10 or higher, and then for the gold, you need CR 15 or higher. Again, we're going straight for the highest requirements so we can unlock all 3 tiers at once. Now, there is a bit of an issue with this one. First of all, Lud's Gate is notoriously long and extremely tedious, mainly because of the underwater maze section. And on top of that, there have been reports that this level is currently bugged in the challenge mode, which can prevent you from completing it normally. So I actually used a few speedrun tactics to complete this level. And let me tell you, these are not the easiest tricks to pull off, especially to skip the first part of the game, but if you follow through the footage, I'll guide you through them as clearly as I can. We will be skipping part of the level, but unfortunately we cannot skip the underwater section. Also, near the very end, we will need to do one more trick. This is because we're skipping the earlier part of the level, we also skip a crucial key item that would normally be required to finish the level. Since we won't have that key, we'll need to use the underwater vehicle to make Lara fly through the final section instead. It is actually quite entertaining to see her fly through the traps and into the final cutscene. So stay with me because this one is chaotic, but it's also quite fun. We're now approaching the area where we'll use the first speedrun tactic to completely skip the opening section of the level. This trick is actually quite hard to pull off, so make sure you have a save file before attempting it. Follow exactly what I'm doing in the footage. So first, position Lara with her back against the wall, then sidestep slightly into the vines. You want Lara to be angled exactly as I am here, roughly in the middle of the square where we will be jumping from. Once you line up, take 2 individual steps forward. After that, we're going to do what I call a walking run jump. I know that sounds a bit strange, but bear with me. Basically, you hold the walk button just long enough for Lara to begin the walking animation and then immediately release it and perform a running jump. This lets you save a bit of space before the jump, which is extremely important here. As you can see in the footage, I've actually failed this quite a few times. If the timing or angle is slightly off, Lara can hit the vines and die, so don't worry, it takes a few times. So after doing the walking run jump, immediately follow it with a swan dive. This will make it so that Lara will actually not hit the vines and make it into the body of water down below. Again, have a save file because this will probably take you quite a few tries, but don't worry, be persistent and you eventually will make it. Now that we've managed to pull off the skip and land in the water, this is the part where we're going to get the underwater vehicle. In this area there are actually 2 ways of getting those, the intended route and the secret area route. Because we skipped a large portion of the level, we also skipped the trigger that would normally close the secret area and activate the enemies properly. So in this section a lot of things are stationary. If you come across enemies here, they actually won't attack Lara because they haven't been triggered to do so yet. So once you find the secret area, pick up the underwater vehicle and then we can head straight into the worst part of the level, which is the underwater maze. You'll also notice that I'm using the Fly High outfit here. That's because its passive ability gives Lara some starting items, including medipacks, which can be very useful in the following up section. This is because during the underwater maze, we'll have to deal with some crocodiles and some very annoying divers, and they can take away a lot of health if you're not careful. Also in the secret area you will see a save crystal. However, this crystal won't actually work because we've skipped the trigger point again. Just grab the underwater vehicle and let's move to the fun part. So once we reach the final area where we surface into the final trap area, we need to use the underwater vehicle flying bug. We need to do this because, as I've mentioned earlier, we skipped a crucial item that we would normally be required to finish the level properly. This trick is quite tricky to pull off actually, and you'll probably need to repeat it quite a few times. I know that I definitely did. So I've actually learned about this fairly recently while watching another guide on how to unlock this outfit. So I'll link that video down below as well. It was genuinely very helpful, so I really recommend checking out that channel. For the trick itself, you need to position the underwater vehicle so that it's facing a wall. Then press the forward button and immediately press the roll button. Keep repeating this movement until you notice that lower air bar stops moving. That is usually a good sign that the bug has worked. Once it does, the underwater vehicle should start flying upwards, almost like a little helicopter. And it's honestly very hilarious. Because most of the level hasn't been triggered properly, you can fly through the final trap section without having to deal with it normally. From there, just fly towards the final cutscene trigger and you should unlock the level. This allows us to finish the level bypassing the current challenge mode issue and unlock the gold tier. So to finish off our little adventure, we're going to unlock the final outfit, which is cooler than cool. Again, I don't know if I'm actually pronouncing this correctly, so apologies for that. To finish things off big or easy in this case, cooler than cool is another one where you can unlock all 3 tiers by completing a single level. And this level is Meteorite Cavern in Tomb Raider 3. So to unlock the bronze version, you need to complete the level on CR3 or higher. To unlock the silver, you need to complete on CR6 or higher, and then to unlock the gold, you need CR9 or higher. So the only issue that I have with this is actually the boss fight with Willard, who is, of course, the final boss of the whole game. He can be quite annoying to deal with here because the enemy damage is set to 200%, meaning that he can one-shot very easily. The rest of the enemies can also deal quite a lot of damage, but there is a little trick that we can use later on to avoid all of the damage from the mobs. So at the start of the level, focus on moving around Willard while shooting him. As soon as he goes down, immediately run and pick up one of the artifacts. Trying to make sure that whenever he is about to go down and enter his regeneration animation, you are already close to one of the artifacts. That way you won't waste time running across the arena and you'll have enough distance from him once he gets back up. After you've dealt with Willard, just continue through the level as normal. Once you reach the area where the enemies start spawning, we're going to use a simple trick. Lure them over to this slope area here and they won't properly follow Lara. From there, you can safely take them down without getting hit. So in order for the slope trick to work properly, you want to set the enemy type in challenge mode to Mutant Ahab. Mutant Ahab turns all regular enemies into mutants, which means you won't have to deal with those very annoying flamethrower enemies. So this makes this section much safer, because if you try to lure the flamethrower enemies towards the slope, they can still attack Lara from a distance and absolutely ruin the run. So make sure Mutant Mayhem is active, lure the mutants towards the slope, and it should be easy peasy. After that, just head straight to the helicopter and the level will end. And with that, we finish our cute little adventure of unlocking all the outfits and their tiers. I really hope you found this guide helpful and that you had some fun along the way. Hopefully as much as I did while recording it. This was actually quite fun to put together, and I'm thinking of keeping this style of guide for future videos. For full walkthroughs, I'll most likely keep them as non-commentary videos, but for more focused guide, like unlocking all achievements on the Steam platform, which is something I definitely want to cover, I'll probably use this format again. So I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments if you found this helpful, and if you know any other tips or tricks for unlocking these outfits, especially anything I didn't mention here, so please do let me know. Thank you so much for watching and have a lovely day.